Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host of the most, the Bridge 258, here today to give you Chelsea 3, Crystal Palace 1 at Selhurst Park. Here we go. Now, as always, guys, I always thought of like what I felt just quickly before the game. Look at the lineups. I thought the lineups were solid. We had one change from the previous game, which had won 4-1. So of course, like they didn't need to make that many changes, in my personal opinion. Shows to stick to the tactics and everything like that. So I wasn't too bad. I was too happy. Obviously, looking at the Crystal Palace side. When you look at their squad, they obviously had that young English midfielder that they just brought in the transfer window, starting for them, and they had Franca, someone that the club had been looking at previously to buy, starting for them on the wing as well. So it was definitely a weakened Crystal Palace squad. Obviously, no Ulisse, no Eze. And obviously no Mark Gurley as well. So it's going to be an interesting day out at the park for sure. Now, obviously, going into the game, and once the game started, I felt like we started really on the second foot. We were taking one too many touches. It felt like we weren't in sync. We weren't creating together. It felt like tactically we were kind of like inept again, like kind of like very similarly to what I've said previously under Pochettino, where it feels like we're just being set up for failure. And there were a lot of times where that was happening, where Caicedo would drop deep in between the centre backs to go and get the ball, and then try to drive or pass through. We'd also have like a midfielder like Enzo or maybe even Gallagher himself having to drop into that left back area because of the fact that Chilwell doesn't really have that recovery pace as he used to, where he could run back to recover for his space whenever he lost the ball in attack. So you had to sacrifice a midfielder there, and for me, if that's the case, why not just sacrifice someone like I Caicedo into that spot? Obviously, you had Madueke. You didn't have the greatest of games. I'll be honest with you, for 110%. Wasn't playing great at all. Again, wasn't that great. Only had one really good chance, which he passed to Gallagher, which was an opportunity really, but there was that. Obviously Jackson was alright, to be honest. Nothing much from him. Palmer obviously in the first half was quite dead too. Enzo was making passes, but that was pretty much it. He was kind of like, again, annoyed in his trust because, again, this is something that we said previously on the show, on this reviews, where the gap between the defenders and then the midfielders is like this big, bro. It's just that wide. It's as wide as the video that I'm doing right now. That's just too wide for that to be the case. So, and then that creates more problems because then you got that big of a gap. They've already got their midfield somewhere in the middle already here, and then we don't have anyone in this area. Yeah, well, we can just go or like what I'm saying to you. So that's the problem, of course. So it is what it is. That's very difficult at the end of the day, particularly in that first half. Obviously, Mateta cooks Disasi, sends him to the shadow realm, hits it, passes it to Jefferson Lerma, and Lerma hits it for the first goal from outside the box. And Perchovic could have done a bit better, in my personal opinion. Listening to Petr Cech, obviously at halftime, he said that if he'd taken 1 yard forward, he could have saved that shot. So obviously, from such a legendary goalkeeper who's most definitely arguably the number one goalkeeper of all time, with all the accolades and the records that he has in the EPL, you probably want to listen to Petr Cech for sure in regards to goalkeeping. Now, at the end of that first half, changes were definitely needed for sure, and the first change that happened was Nkunku coming on for Madueke. We kind of saw an instant impact, within the first 5 minutes. Obviously, ball to Gallagher, which he was able to put into the back of the net via Augusto cross to get him the assist to make it 1-1. Then really after that, we were really missing an incisive pass. That final ball we were missing wasn't that great. Crystal Palace weren't really offering that much going forward. They had a 1 or 2, 3 chances, but really weren't offering anything up front. Just about us finding that final pass, final ball. We brought on Sterling to try to help in regards to that level of creativity as well, and he missed a big chance where he was literally open. His touch failed him there too, and QQ was bright in parts too. But really and truly, bro, at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. It happens. Now, our second goal came obviously in the 90th minute. We were able to break from a corner for Crystal Palace. Palmer, great break from him. Passed it then to Gallagher for him to put into the back of the net to make it 2-1. Obviously, crowd goes the way crowd goes wild. He jumps into the crowd, comes out. We break their waiststand and everything like that, which is a really nice touch. Then we have another opportunity which we were able to break from in a similar position from a corner. Again, from Cole Palmer into Enzo. Enzo bang 3-1, and pretty much after that was full time because we hit one in the 90th minute, 91st minute, then the other one was in the 93rd minute, and the game ends in the 95th minute. So hey, we definitely cut it close. We definitely cut it close, and that is one thing for sure. Now, in regards to the players, I think the players in general all had a really bad first half performance. They played terribly, in my opinion. There was no connection really from defense to offense, in my opinion. There was nothing that was really working there at all. Midfield wise, we weren't that great. I'll be honest with you. Gallagher was making some runs, but was running around, but there was nothing much there to be said. In my personal opinion, but that was pretty much what was going on there for sure. Now, in regards to other stuff that we can credit the team for, definitely, in my opinion, for sure, I want to credit the way the teams played in the second half. Tried to really bring back that energy. I want to big up Gusto. I think Gusto had a lot of good opportunities. His touch failed him really in the first half. He was making some mistakes. But I think for me, with Gusto, clearly he's got that attacking ability and everything like that with his crosses. Sometimes just need to make sure his decision making is better than his awareness. Yeah, in the terms of like his vision, knowing who's there, when to pass it quicker, when to pass it later. That's what he needs to do. That's what he needs to work on for sure. Obviously, he asks to be taken off. Probably because, you know, he's really tired and I don't think he wants to get injured, so that's probably the reason why. Hopefully he's all fit and set for the Man City game for sure. In regards to other players, obviously big up to Palmer, really showed up in the second half, was able to assist the goals for us. Big up Enzo for the goals. Big up for Gallagher for really getting that equaliser for us and the win and to give us the lead in the 91st minute. Big up to him, really got his shooting boots on, particularly against Crystal Palace for some reason, because he always scores for us against Crystal Palace, it seems. So I want to give a massive big up to Conor Gallagher for sure. Really helps us out there at the end of the day, so I want to give him the massive props that he deserves. Now, in regards to Poch, honestly, for me, again, he had a horrendous game in my opinion in terms of the setup and the way he got us to play. It didn't work really well. I felt like the players were working well either. But hey ho, we move. But listen, at the end of the day, man, we were able to get the win, and that's what matters. We get the 3 points on the board. If I'm not mistaken, now we're currently in 8th place in the League 2, or if not, we're just 1 point behind 8th. If I'm not mistaken, let me just double check that while I'm talking with you guys shortly. And yeah, boys. At the end of the day, boys, we're literally. Oh, sorry. If I'm mistaken. Actually, we're currently 10th in the league, 34 points. We are literally only behind United with by 7 points in 6th place, and yeah, man, it's a very, very major thing that's happened right now. So obviously we still got a big opportunity for us right now to be able to do some sort of magic or something that we need to do at the end of the day. Obviously we're going to Man City next, which is kind of a big game. Hopefully we don't lose that game, because we don't really need to lose that at all. If I'm not mistaken as well, that's at Etihad too, so that's going to be a very, very massive game at the end of the day. So we need to be able to, you know, as I always say, be on our knees and toes, and hopefully we don't have this performance again, because we can't afford another performance like this pretty much from that game too. So hopefully Charles is able to fix up, be able to do what he needs to do to win that game. But at the end of the day, this game has ended 3-1. Big up for the win, and it's a much needed win. But hey, we move. And that's the video, guys. As always, please continue to like, share, subscribe. I've been your host, the Most British T58. Dedicate your hearts, and as always, please make sure to stay blue.